Welcome to Business 101. Today's topic is nonverbal communication. Can any of you define what nonverbal communication is? Nick?
Communication that is non-verbal.
I don't know, I forgot my book today.
Well, the book defines nonverbal communication as all intentional and unintentional messages that are not written, spoken, or sounded.
Jenna had a good answer there. What do you think are some of the key types of communication that you need to be aware of in the workplace? You can just shout out your answers.
Handshakes.
Handshakes are good.
Clothing.
Clothing is good.
Maybe eye contact.
Eye contact is good.
And personal space?
And touch personal space. Alright, I think that is a good list. We'll touch on the handshakes first. Can I get 2 volunteers to demonstrate a couple handshakes for me?
Here you go. Okay.
What was that? That is not a professional handshake. That is something that you would do to a friend that you meet in a bar or a club or on the street. Can we make it more professional, please?
Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Good. Alright, that was a good handshake, maybe a little too much. Jenna, can you say something wrong about that handshake?
Well, I think it was a little aggressive. They looked like they hurt each other's hands. Okay. Go.
You guys might have toned it down just a little bit too much there. Jenna, do you have any comments on that?
Well, it was a little weak. It looked like they didn't even want to give each other a handshake. Okay. Go.
You guys got it right on that one. Typically overall, a firm handshake known as a continental grab makes the best impression in the United States. Can anyone read what the textbook says about a handshake?
Well, 90% of the personnel managers from 30 companies considered a firm handshake by the applicant interviewed to be important. Actually, most Americans react negatively to the dead fish handshake.
Thank you for reading that for us. Moving on to our next topic, we're going to look at the importance of eye contact. The face is responsible for most of the nonverbal messages. In the U.S. culture today, people look at eye contact. They want you to look at them when you're speaking to them. Right now, you guys are kind of demonstrating my point.
Okay.
So how do you guys think your lack of eye contact is interpreted? Nick? Nick?
What was the question again?
What do you think your lack of eye contact is showing?
Oh, maybe lack of interest.
Maybe.
Oh, I'm sorry, I think it would show a lack of respect.
Those are some good answers. Now I can get you guys to pay attention. Eye contact will show that you're engaged in a conversation, you show interest, you're participating, and that you're a good listener. Remember to look at the person that you're talking to as well as look at the person that's talking to you. It will show that you're engaged in the conversation. I think we've talked enough about eye contact. We can move on to our next point. The book illustrates here 4 categories of personal space. Can I get a couple of volunteers to demonstrate what they are and what they are used for?
Well, this is called the intimate distance, which is usually used with close friends and families for private conversations. Well, this one that they're demonstrating here is called personal distance. It's used by close friends or colleagues. Like, for example, if they each eat lunch together or standing around the coffee pot during break. The book explains that how closely they sit or stand within the personal distance range depends on their own personal space requirements, the environment, and how much they like one another.
Okay.
Most business transactions are conducted within the social distance. People attending social functions after work or interview like this situation, or people that have to meet for group meetings are a lot of times in a social distance. Our last category is public distance, which is hard to demonstrate in a classroom situation. It's maintained between a speaker and a large group of people.
Thank you, class, for demonstrating those categories for me. Knowledge of these distances is important for your business or professional success. Be aware that the appropriate distance depending on the situation and know what others' personal distances are. Some may like to have more space than others. So now that we've covered that, we can move on to our next topic, personal space and clothing. Oftentimes, people are not aware that their clothing and personal appearances determine what people think of them. In fact, people use your clothing and appearance to determine your status, credibility, and persuasiveness. Look at what you guys are wearing today. Do you think it's appropriate for a business setting?
Well, I know what I'm wearing isn't fit for a business setting. It's just too casual. Jeans and a t-shirt just doesn't seem like a business setting type of attire.
Well, a polo's a step up from just a jeans and t-shirt. So I'd use it when I'm going outside of the office for a meeting, but I definitely wouldn't want to walk into the office and just with a polo. I'd want something more professional.
Well, I have on black pants and a nice top, which usually goes under the category of business casual, and that's what a lot of businesses are doing nowadays.
Those were good answers. I would say the same exact thing about your clothing as well. What I'm wearing today is what I would call more business professional. Got a suit on, tie. You would see professionals wearing this, giving presentations, manager positions, CEOs, and other professionals in business. It's also important to think about the colors that you're wearing. If you're in more of an entry position, you're going to want to wear more neutral colors, blacks, whites, tans, other browns. Just, they're more neutral. People you'll blend a little bit more and get a little bit more respect. As you move up the ladder, management positions and stuff, you want to think about wearing reds, blues, purples. They just show a little bit more power, and people look at you and think that you have that power. I think that's all we need to cover about clothing and appearance today. It's important that nonverbal symbols, and gestures we discussed today are understood by most people in the United States. However, that other countries and cultures, they may be different. So overall, the nonverbal symbols and gestures that we discussed today in class are understood by most people in the United States. However, people in other countries and cultures have different meanings to these symbols. It is important to consider this when working with other people from other cultures. Well, so that wraps up our class for today. Remember that handshakes, eye contact, personal space, and your clothing are all part of nonverbal communication that can continuously examined by others, especially in the workplace. What was that? That is not a professional handshake. That is something you would do to someone.
Yeah.
What was that? That is not a professional handshake. That is some.
This is called the intimate distance. Oh, wait, I don't.
Yeah.
Our last category. Oh, start over. Business casual.
Yep.